Yo out there, fellow collectors of toy cars. Brilliant haul from Carboot Sales. Went to a new one, wasn't so bad, had a few toy cars. But anyway, first of all, Poundland stuff. Went into my local Poundland, Newmarket one, and found some great stuff. First of all, we have the Meter Maid. This is a model that I actually wanted for quite a while, and now I have it. It's a sweet little thing. I do like these weird little three-wheeled vehicles like the Tuk-Tuk and the Pigeon. I absolutely want a Pigeon. I've seen BeamNG Drive, that is a very silly videos. I love the Pigeon, it's just so stupidly brilliant. Next we have Formula Flashback. Now this is probably sort of like meant to be a reminiscence of sort of like an old F1 car. I would probably say 1970s, very early 70s, because of the big wing on the back there. They weren't quite aerodynamic yet, and they weren't exactly highly sophisticated. Plus, there's not much safety in there as well. But it looks like a 90s one as well. It's hard to really tell. It is a fantasy model, though. Next, we have Grass Chomper in green. I think this is the second colour variation. I remember the red one was the first one, which I do have. I now have the green variation. I think the latest one is a yellow version. So, I mean, you've basically got the whole collection here. You've got Massey Ferguson, which is in red. This is obviously the John Deere version. The yellow one is probably JCB. Does that mean there's going to be a blue Ford one? I'm just giving you ideas, Mattel. Just giving you ideas. And then finally, for the carded stuff from Poundland, we have the Carbonator. Very cool model to get. I always look out for this one because I do like to find it. There's only a few I'm missing in my carded collection. That's the 2017 Leap, it was 2017 Leap Year special card, the Mercury, with the cool loop on it, and the Simpsons Homemobile. Anyway, getting on to the loose stuff. Quite a lot to go through here, so let's get started. First of all, we have a new one from Majoretti, the Exploratorium. A very weird 4x4 model. Has a cool little leaf patterny design on the top. And yes, this part does come off to reveal the inside. So I shall do that now. There we go. And as you can see on the inside, this is what Majoretti used to do back in the day. They used to put a lot of detail into their workings. So as you can see, the other cool thing as well, I don't know if my camera is going to focus on this, but the guy there, that's actually a chainsaw next to him in really good detail. Like I say, the back just snaps back on. It would probably be a case you'd probably find that without the back on, but I've found it with the back on, so I'm really happy with that. Next we have a little, I think this is Micro Machines. This is Night Cruiser, a Micro Machines monster truck, or possibly another brand of Micro Machines, but a monster truck. I would say let's see downhill racing of these, but I don't think they'll fit in the raceway. Plus also as well, the wheels are a bit rickety, so they might not work. Still, be cool to see if that is a possible thing, Race Crews. Hint, hint. Next, I found some super fasts, Super GTs. I thought I'd never find any more of these, but I did. Here is generic Super GT. These were very cheap models, literally metal base, plastic body, 4 wheels. All that's in between here, this bit here, is one metal plate, because I used to have a load of these when I was a child. Basically, somewhere in the middle here, there's a little spike that basically holds the metal part so that these wheels don't sort of fall out of place. It is really cheap and horrible, but I love them because I don't know how many they made, but either way. Next we have the 4x4 Jeep. This is just a generic 4x4 Jeep from Matchbox in army colours. This canvas does come off, but because I've got so many I won't waste time. As you can see, there's something on the front of the bonnet there. It's a pretty cool logo, just some Trojan type thing. Next we have another Majoretti. We have a Chevrolet Corvette in blue with the wide wheels. This is the only problem I could see for race crews, is sort of like these wheels. They're just too wide, so they might not fit in the raceway. Still cool though. Very nice model to get indeed from Majoretti. Always love to pick up older Majorettis because it's very hard. I think this is called Formula Streak. I can't remember its name. I'll look it up later online, but yep. Here is a Hot Wheels with Zap Racing. Bound to go fast. That's definitely a 90s thing. Back in the day, Zap used to be sort of like a good cartoon or a good TV show, but also as well used to be something, if you wanted to go fast, you said, Zap, I'm fast. Next we have a Corgi Porsche Carrera. This one in the Tarka Q racing colours. There was a whole box of just toy cars, and I had a good rummage through, and these were most of the ones that I managed to find in there. There was quite a lot of stuff in there, but it was mostly either cheapo, broken, or sadly not very good condition sort of stuff. Next we have another Porsche from Corgi, 911 SC Targa, in this disgusting, horrible, lovely mint colour. I absolutely love disgusting colours like this. I'm a very 70s colour guy. So brown, banana yellow, snot green, I love all that sort of colours. Next we have a Majoretti truck. Just a Majoretti truck. I actually thought it was a Nova car for a minute, because I looked at it and I thought, that's a Nova car, because it has such a basic base, but no, it's a Majoretti. Unless this is a Nova car and it's under the Majoretti brand, because that's the problem. Nova car and Majoretti do look very much the same. Next we have a Mercedes ambulance. This is a Bynes ambulance. And yes, they did make Mercedes ambulances back in the day. Well, Mercedes do still make the ambulances for the UK, but this is sort of like a Mercedes-Benz ambulance. Next we have a Corgi fire truck. Chubb fire truck, C-H-U-B-B. And yes, this bit on the top here does rotate, which is very cool indeed. Surprised this was actually still on here, because usually that bit would get broken off. Absolutely lovely model to have. Really cool. Pretty cool design as well. This is the one you see at the not the fire station. Yeah, of course you'll see it at the fire station because it's a fire engine. No, it's all the thing you see at the airport, because that's one of those. Next we have a Mercedes Unimog. I love Unimogs because they're so stupid looking. Very cool model indeed. And there's an aeroplane going over as well, so that might contaminate background noise, but either way, pretty cool. Next we have another Swamp Rat. This one is a different colour though, and it's actually got the same logo as the Jeep. So maybe this was an army pack. Either way, pretty cool. Motor on the back here spins, and the little guy spins. You might want to turn your volume down. This is a bit squeaky. Well, it's not too squeaky, but it was squeaky. But yeah, as you can see, he moves. It's pretty cool to get because he is a really nice figure. There's the logo again. I say generic logo. I think it was a case of back in the early days, yes, you could have like a Nazi symbol, but it had to be sort of like secret, as in sort of like basically it wasn't really that well known. I mean, it was sort of, it was a bit like the original Hot Wheels, oh god, the helmet one. That originally used to have a Nazi logo on the side, but then Hot Wheels changed that, but the original version did. Anyway, here's another Super GT. Literally, that's all these are just called. Super GT. Turbo written on the back. I think what Matchbox did was they just took old castings that basically were cheap to produce and just literally sort of like mass made a whole load of them just for the sheer hell of it. Next we have a Super Van from Corgi with fire salvage. Now, I think back in the day, when you used to have a fire, this was the sort of person that would go around and survey the building to see if there was anything to salvage, whether the building could be remade or possibly was safe to enter so you could get documents and other stuff from it. Those sort of things don't happen nowadays. If a fire happens, it's a simple case of, nope, that building's unsafe to go in. So it usually either gets demolished or basically tries to be rebuilt slightly. Yet another Super GT. This is the more commoner looking version. I think this is an old Volvo. Again, like I say, I just love the Super GT line because they're just so common, and they made a whole load of them. I mean, I suppose it could be a case of they might have made a 10-pack, a 20-pack, something like that back in the day, and that was it. Next we have a Majoretti Fourgon with fruits on the side. Yes, just generic fruits. Also as well, rear opening doors that still open. Pretty cool. Nothing inside, sadly. It would be nice if there was a fruit crate box on the bottom there, but that would have cost them a bit extra on plastic. Either way though, still very cool to get. Next we have a Skoda. The first Skoda I actually have is a 130 LR. cool thing about this little Skoda is the fact that it's an earlier Skoda. I do like Skodas, they're very basic, reliable vehicles. And also as well, you may have noticed the rattling. Yes, it has an opening rear, because that is where the engine is. The engine was in the rear. They weren't air cooled or anything like that, they were just literally sort of like put in the rear. Next we have Off Track. A very cool Hot Wheels model, one that I happened to find. One that I didn't have either. Very cool model indeed, very basic tampos, basic plastic as well. This is See You Later. Now this has had a casting change. Originally, the back end there, that bit used to be plastic and was part of the interior, or part of the chrome. That's now all one whole top piece. Kind of a shame, but I suppose it happens. Either way, really cool to get. Next we have a Chevrolet Silverado from 1999. I think this is what the Avalanche basically replaced. Oh wait, no, the Avalanche was its own thing. It was a case of the Silverado lived on. And still lives on because it was a popular name. It's a bit like the Ford F100. That gets remade every few years or few sort of like decades. Next we have another Sierra. This is the XR4i, which is still common these days. This I might already have this one. I'm not 100% on that, but either way, still pretty cool to have. Another Ford Transit. This one is with police on the side, which I think is just a bad spelling for police. Still a pretty cool model though. Love the fact that this old Transit van is actually still designed, even though it came out in like 1995. So that shows the age of it. This model is 12 years old and it's still going. Now, the final one I have is something, you may remember the Majoretti Revelers or Rumblers I got a while ago that didn't work. This is pretty much the same thing. This is a Matchbox track shifter. There were two there. Unfortunately, the other one, the rubber wheels weren't on it, but this one does have the rubber wheels. Now, this is pretty cool. You notice the gear stick in the top. That's the forward position. Underneath, it actually adjusts. So, if you watch the little wheel, if I now adjust it to the side, look at that, it changes. This is really innovative. And the other thing as well is the fact that if I twist this wheel here, it springs out. I have absolutely no idea what these were. Any information on these, this would be awesome, because I'm really stumped. It's in poor condition, but I suppose that's common. But like I say, I've never heard of one of these or seen one, so I had to have it. It is really cool. I suspect that probably this at one stage or another was pull back and go, and what you had to do was sort of like set it to go in the right direction, and then you hit the button and that would probably set the pull back and go action off, so that basically you could push it back a little bit, then push it a little bit, then set it, and it would go. Again, it looks like it's a predecessor of a non-electric Scalextric set. Either way though, that is one really cool model. Just make sure I haven't missed anything. Nope. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. That is pretty much it. Huge amount of stuff. Like I say, the car boot sales have been getting pretty good. I've sold a lot of stuff as well at the car booty, so I've got some extra cash flowing around. No longer collecting the carded stuff, unless Poundland has some decent stuff, but even then. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you next time.